imagine a world without diversity. How boring that kind of world is. And unluckily, this kind of portrayal world are going to happen under the government side of the house. Ladies and gentlemen, let's engage to what they want to propose in this motion. First, they try to give us the argument of how they are going to be bullied and oppressed and etc. on protection. The problem is that they never try to explain to us how this kind of discrimination can actually, the process of discrimination happen. In our side of the house, I'm going to prove to you why this kind of discrimination happen because of those kind of bigoted people that actually, in the end of the day, you won't be able to cure them, and it will be worse under your side of the house. And we say that when they say about how trauma and insecurity and etc., we believe that trauma and insecurity are going to happen because you are discriminated, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that our first argument are directly clash and directly tackle down all of their argument, ladies and gentlemen. And then when they said how if you want to get respected by majority, then you have to imitate what the majority do. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break this kind of narrative, because if you want to get respected by the majority, how you do this is that you prove to those kind of majority that somehow you are consistent enough, you are proud enough to protect your own identity, and we are going to prove to you why this kind of identity very matter in the very first place, ladies and gentlemen. So we see that how the problem right now, we acknowledge about how we meet discrimination some of the time. Those people that come from minority communities usually become disadvantaged because of the discrimination that they face day by day, such as being bullied by school, mocked by friends, or even physical abuse. This happen because of the practical or bargaining position that sometimes they find in the real life. But however, we believe that it's pretty changing right now. We can see that however, we can see that some groups can be accepted, like how LGBTQ in India right now can get acknowledged because they are there to portray their differences here. That's how they are different here, ladies and gentlemen. With this kind of proposal, you are only going to give extra burden to this kind of problem. We believe that our goal is simple. We want to those communities and their future generation to stay in their own culture, and they can become an independency to decrease this kind of discrimination. Therefore, our stance is clear that no, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to assimilate our culture, but we are going to keep our status quo with upholding our culture in front of those majority, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to oppose this motion by giving two arguments. First, why this proposal will only destroy their bargaining position. Second, I would say why it is not justified under the side of the house. First, we say that we know the characterization of child is how they are still pretty vulnerable and easily to get afraid of something, ladies and gentlemen. With proposing this, you are going to torture your children more. Why? Because let's characterize how they become disadvantaged in the very first place. Mostly, it's because the bigoted people that discriminate them, ladies and gentlemen, because they can't accept our differences, right, ladies and gentlemen? We are very sorry to say, but this kind of bigoted people are usually uneducated, ladies and gentlemen. That usually this kind of discrimination happen because of those people that can't accept our differences, ladies and gentlemen. Those people that can even accept our differences, those kind of bigoted people will hate us on everything that we do, how matter it is good, ladies and gentlemen. With this proposal, those people will only discriminate you. Why? Because well, exactly because you are going to portray them as inconsistent. You as children, you are going as parents, you will only get a lower bargaining position because they will know that you are not even proud of your own culture, that you are even embarrassed with your own culture. These people are not going to understand even if you are going to assimilate with them, because we believe that this kind of discrimination process happen because of these people that can't even accept our differences, right? Meaning that even if you are going to portray yourself the same like them, in the end of the day, they will only see you not as someone that respect them, but only someone that are not even embrace your own culture, that are even embraced with your own culture, ladies and gentlemen. And then no. These people aren't going to understand you are my friend or my human and etc. And you will become someone consistent. We believe that other than that, even how you are going to portray yourself as culturally assimilate with them, but for example, like a black Muslim, your identity as how you are black Muslim will still be there anyway in the end of the day, right? Meaning that actually you are still going to discriminate in the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, because you are seen as someone inconsistent with your own culture, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that this kind of inconsistency very worse in the side of the house. It's better in our status quo because by maintaining your identity, because at the very least, these bigoted people will see you as someone that's very proud of yourself and have a strong dignity, ladies and gentlemen. And how they say that how they are going to get respected. We believe that if you want to get respected, ladies and gentlemen, then it will be much better if those kind of majority, those kind of dominant people see you as someone that consistent, as someone that have a strong dignity and want to embrace your own culture. This is how you are going to give those kind of narrative of respect inside of their heart, ladies and gentlemen. So we say that under our side of the house, it's better to maintain the status quo, because if you do not necessarily maintain the status quo, you are going to end up in the end of the day getting discriminated more and more, ladies and gentlemen. No. second, we said that how it is not justified, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Because parents, the characterization of parents is that how they should embrace this kind of ancestors, right? They should embrace this kind of culture and pride to make sure that their culture exists for a century after that. With this proposal, you are going to lose your dignity, you are going to lose your pride and your culture. What does this mean? Meaning that your cultural identity are going to be lost. And why identity is so important in this debate, ladies and gentlemen? Because identity is what defines you. Identity is that how it's your true self, that you can't betray your ancestor culture besides of that, with this kind of identity, you are going to get this kind of subjective empowerment. What kind of subjective empowerment, ladies and gentlemen? You are going to get this kind of subjective empowerment from your own race. So if you have this kind of discrimination, at least that people with subjective empowerment are going to define you, ladies and gentlemen. People from your own race at least are going to define you in the end of the day, right? Prove that how you are going to have a strong bargaining position in the end of the day, because you are going to get this kind of subjective empowerment, ladies and gentlemen. But besides of that, we believe that diversity is the one that we should embrace, right? We must not embrace just because we are different with other people, ladies and gentlemen. It is what makes our world better and beautiful with this kind of diversity, right? Imagine if diversity lost, ladies and gentlemen. We won't have any development because all of our culture will be stagnant. All our activities will be stagnant, without any new way of life. Right? We cannot fulfill each other because we exactly same as each other. We cannot respect each other because exactly we are just same as each other. Then this doesn't have any differences. We do not know what is the essence of respecting each other if we do not even know differences, ladies and gentlemen. So we say that diversity is very important here, because if you want to respect someone, if you want to show how you love someone, first you need what is the diversity inside of their problems, ladies and gentlemen. So we say that under our set of laws, it will be made better. But if we talk about discrimination, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that discrimination can happen in opposition and government in the end of the day, right? But the question is that which one is better, ladies and gentlemen? We say that at least in our sides, when discrimination truly happens, it's still better because you are still have this kind of family or this kind of subjective empowerment inside of you, right? You are still going to have your race that defends you from this kind of discrimination, right? Imagine if discrimination still happen in government side of the house. Who will protect them, ladies and gentlemen? No one. They will, in the end of the day, have no one to be protected, because in the end of the day, they will betray their own race as how they already assimilate with their culture. But even if they already assimilate, they still do not get this kind of power, right? So we believe that how the first speaker of the government team are playing too safe when they do not even play that how even if the discrimination still happen in your sides, well, it's still perfectly fine for you to do this kind of assimilation, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why we say that it is not mutually benefit for us to do this kind of assimilation. But even if you get oppressed every day, even if you get discriminated every day in the worst case, it's still perfectly fine, because so long as you have your family, your entire race will still with you, right? Your entire family will still love you, right, at the end of the day. So we are very proud to oppose. Thank you.